On a call yesterday that I wanted to share with you. So this is a client that I've been working with for a while, and she's really doing fantastically. She noticed that anytime she goes to an event or a party or something, where there's a lot of food and it's outside her home, she loses all control. So we decided to explore it a little bit. And she said, now that I think about it, I know where this comes from. She said, actually, I know where this comes from, but how does that help me? So where does it come from? When she was younger, she lived in an area where, I don't want to give away too many details, but she lived in an area where there was not too much kosher food, and her parents were like super, super careful about kashrus, maybe too careful. I'm not judging that right now, but ultimately, anytime they would go to a kiddush or an event or a party or something, she was not allowed to eat, and there were and she just had to sort of like stare at the food. Sometimes she was exhausted, like if it was, a long time since she'd eaten. So she's exhausted and she's starved, and she's having these experiences where she really is not allowed to eat, and she's hungry, and she's a small girl. And now, as an adult, there's abundant food, and something, the inner child inside of her is triggered, and she just feels like, just grab it, take it, and there's like no limit. And she really feels horrible afterwards. She wanted to know, okay, so I know where it's coming from, and I understand it, but what do I do about it? Right. And I told her I don't want to give her like a glib, quick answer, because this is so much, and it's so, so much to unpack, and it really runs pretty deep. But it's not something that happens all the time. And so I wanted to give her like just a basic strategy for how to handle it. And I think that it resonated with her very powerfully. I'm going to share it with you for anybody who might be struggling with something similar. So I told her that when she comes to this event or this party or this simcha or this barbecue or whatever it is, take a breath, take a look around. Then close your eyes or move away from the scene. There's a moment there where she's battling with herself. So I said, just close your eyes. And after you've seen all the food, and just tell yourself, you can have whatever you want, whenever you want, which is true. She's, financially fine. She can go to the supermarket at any time. But even right now, you can have whatever you want. What would you like? Not what do you need. What would you like? And maybe she'll decide, okay, I want 2 hot dogs, a hamburger, and some steak. And then she should ask herself, is that it, or do you need anything else? And she'll think again, maybe a little bit more steak after that. Is that it? Maybe some watermelon and a little bit of cake. Is that it? Good. And then go ahead and take it, right? And what we're doing over here is that we're stopping the process of the resistance, because the resistance was actually bringing her into the binge. And yes, it may be more food than she would normally eat at a normal dinner. But again, this is not something that happens every single day. And my guess, and she agreed with this, is that over time, as she asks herself, what do you need? And say gently, what do you need? And is that it? Is that it? Is that it? It'll be less and less and less, because she's no longer resisting it. And she should just keep reminding herself, whatever you need, whatever you want, you can have, right? And again, this may not sound like intuitive, because, we're trying to lose weight, but it's healing, right? And when we start to heal, all the struggles that brought us to the weight that we're at start to fall away. And I asked her if she thinks that this is something that could work for her, and she said 100%, 100%. And I think that, on our level, on all of our level, when we get into this like panicky mode of like, I need it, take a breath and ask yourself, first of all, remind yourself, you can have whatever you want, whenever you want. What do you want right now, right? Because a lot of times we're eating much more than we want. We don't even want it, right? We have this like power struggle with